right, well, this is going to be part 5 of our plan reading series. In this episode, we're going to be talking about the foundation plan, and I am going to show you some of the details pertaining to that. All right, here is our foundation plan. This is for a mono slab. This is the same set of plans we've been working off of for the whole series here. Something I want to point out on a slab plan, all the walls are gone, all the doors are gone, the windows are gone, the electrical stuff is gone. But they do give us some plumbing fixtures. Now, why do they give us some plumbing fixtures? Because when you're dealing with a slab home, your drain line plumbing is going to go underneath that concrete slab. So you have to do your plumbing stuff before they pour concrete. So plumbers are going to use this foundation plan to lay out that plumbing under the slab. Now in this one, we have that simple little bathroom, and then we have our kitchen sink. Sometimes you might have to run your water lines to, say if you've got an island sink. Well, this sink here is up against that exterior wall, so we don't really have to worry about running water lines. We can get our water lines down through the wall or from the in between the first and second floor. So let's point out something else that's important here. These dotted lines. Now, this is your footer or your thickened slab. This is substantially thicker, and I'm going to show y'all a little detail here in a little bit. If you pass through this with some of your plumbing pipes, you're going to have to sleeve it with a hard sleeve. So you're going to want to try to avoid those as much as you can, but you're going to hit at least one or two of them when you're laying this out. The other thing is, when you're looking at your foundation plan, and if you're doing the plumbing under, you're going to want to look at the first floor because of this 2x6 wall here. Now, this is the main floor plan, and then this is the upstairs floor plan, and there's also a 2x6 wall here. And those two walls do sit on top of each other. And what that's for is when you're doing your plumbing under, you're going to have a drop. You're going to have some vents. Typically, you're going to want to put them in those 2x6 walls. So don't forget about that. And let's take a look at this typical. All right, well, here is a detail, and there's actually a couple of these that show like how the garage floor goes and everything, but we're going to look at this one. Some people call these typicals because this is typical in the construction when doing a slab for your two-story houses as far as the tolerances and how thick it needs to be and stuff like that. So the first thing I want to look at here is it's 4-inch minimum concrete slab. Now that's going to be pretty much the floor of this particular house. It's going to be 4 inches thick on that concrete. This wall is a load-bearing wall, and it's putting a lot of pressure down on this footing, so it's got to be a certain thickness. Now, if you see over here where it starts to expand or starts to get wider, they have the 8-inch minimum, which holds that anchor bolt there, and then below that, you're going to have another foot by 1 foot 4 inches. So it's going to be 20 inches thick right there. And the other thing to point out here is they're calling for 2 number 4 diameter rebar on chairs. And chairs are these little holders that keep it up off the ground, so it's sitting like it's sitting here in the picture. Now, what's a number 4 rebar? Well, for every number, like 1, 2, 3, it's going to be 1/8 of an inch. So a number 4 rebar would be 4/8 or a 1/2 inch rebar, which is pretty typical. All right, here is another one of our little details, and this is showing the garage door recess seal. It's this little bump right here, and the purpose of this is so that water doesn't come up under the garage door if there's a heavy rain and lots of splashing and stuff, or even if you're out there with a hose playing around. This little recess, this little bump, and it should be that 3/4 of an inch right there. That is going to keep the water from coming into your garage. This is very similar to the one we were just looking at, but this is showing the sloping driveway. It does have the number 4 rebar. But some of the dimensions are missing there, and it's because this is just a typical thing. It's just put on the plans, but your concrete guys they're going to do it the same way every time because they know what they're doing. Okay, I wanted to show you this one as well because this is actually showing you the penetration detail for this sewer line that we've got coming out of our house here. And as you see, they've got a PVC sleeve on it. Anytime you pass through one of these footings, whether it's an interior or an exterior footing, anytime you're going horizontally through that thickened slab or footing, you're going to have to sleeve it with a sleeve 2 pipe sizes bigger. Now, that's not just double the diameter. I'm assuming this is probably a 3-inch pipe coming out of this house. So we typically do it with a 6-inch pipe because that's what our suppliers carry. But if you can get your hands on a 5-inch sleeve, that'll work just fine because they actually make it. It's 2 pipe sizes bigger. If they had a 4.5 out there, this is a 3. Next size up's a 4. The next size up would be a 4.5. You could even use a 4.5-inch sleeve, but most of your suppliers are going to have 3, 4, and 6. So we typically use the 6. But yeah, anytime you pass through one of these footings, whether it's just a thickened slab for an interior wall up there, or it's a load bearing where your sewer line's coming out. Now that one up there, thickened slab edge detail, that's like your front porch or your patio. That's not got a wall sitting on it. That's just a concrete slab, like for a patio or a back porch. Well, I think that's going to be it for this one. I hope you learned something, and we'll see you on the next one.